If you're sitting on the couch at 9 p.m., wondering why your baby has been attached to your chest for what feels like 3 hours straight, and you're asking yourself, is my milk not enough? Is something wrong? Or is this just how nights are now? Take a breath with me. If you're a first-time mom who usually does pretty well with schedules and clear plans, but your evenings now look like back-to-back feeds and zero downtime, this video is for you. By the end of this video, you'll know what cluster feeding at night actually is, what's considered normal, how long it usually lasts, what you can realistically do to cope, and when this pattern might be a sign to check in with your baby's pediatrician or a lactation professional. The goal is not to get your baby to follow some perfect feeding chart. The goal is to help you stop panicking that you're doing it wrong and start seeing these nights as something you can plan around and survive. Hi, I'm Cherry, a certified maternal newborn nurse and your expert postpartum coach. I help moms cut through the confusing advice and get clear, evidence-based guidance for the newborn and postpartum period. Let's talk about newborn cluster feeding at night and how to make it more manageable. First, what is cluster feeding? Cluster feeding is when your baby wants to feed much more often than usual for a block of time, often in the late afternoon or in the evening. Instead of eating every 2 to 3 hours, they may nurse or take a bottle every 30 to 60 minutes with short breaks and a lot of on and off the breast or bottle. It can look like this. You finish a feed. Baby seems okay for 10 or 20 minutes, then starts rooting again, fussing or crying. And the only thing that really settles them is feeding again. It is frustrating, it is tiring, and it's very easy to assume, I must not have enough milk, or something is wrong with my baby's digestion. But in many cases, cluster feeding is a normal pattern, especially in the first months of life. It's your baby ordering extra to grow, to boost your milk supply, and sometimes just to get comfort during the most overwhelming part of the day. Why does cluster feeding usually happen at night? There are a few reasons. First, babies have tiny stomachs and fast metabolisms. They digest milk quickly, especially breast milk. So, in the previous evenings, they may be topping off before a slightly longer stretch of sleep. Second, your milk production and flow can feel different throughout the day. Some parents notice the milk seems to come a little slower in the evenings. So, baby may need more frequent, shorter feeds to feel full. Third, evenings are when babies are often the fussiest. They're tired, overstimulated, and their tiny nervous system is done with the day. Feeding is not just about calories, it's also about comfort. Nursing or the sucking motion on a bottle or pacifier can be very soothing. So, when you put all of that together, you get this cluster of frequent feeds in the late afternoon or evening, followed by hopefully a longer stretch of sleep. Now I hope you're getting what cluster feeding really means. Not every baby does this, but for many, it's a normal pattern. What does normal cluster feeding look like? Okay, normal cluster feeding usually happens during certain parts of the day. Most often, these are in the late afternoon or evenings. Lasts for a few hours, not 24 hours straight. It goes along with the baby who is having a good number of wet and dirty diapers for their age, gaining weight appropriately at checkups, and having some calm, content periods outside of the cluster window. During the cluster, your baby might root or bob their head often, seem unsettled if you try anything except feeding, feed for shorter stretches, pull off, fuss, then get back on it again. It's very intense, but intense doesn't automatically equal dangerous. What about formula-fed or combo-fed babies? We usually talk about cluster feeding with breastfeeding, but bottle-fed babies can show similar patterns. They may ask for more frequent bottles in the evening or take smaller, more frequent amounts. If you're combo feeding, you might notice your baby wants to nurse a lot for comfort or take extra small bottles while still wanting to be held constantly. The key is to look at the whole picture. Overall intake, diapers, weight gain, and how your baby looks and behaves between those intense periods. Let's talk about how long cluster feeding lasts. There are two ways to think about these: how long each session lasts and how long this phase lasts. A single evening of cluster feeding might mean your baby is feeding on and off for a few hours. For example, from 6 to 9 p.m. or 7 to 10 p.m. with short breaks in between. The phase itself, where your baby regularly cluster feeds in the evenings, is usually most intense in the newborn period, especially the first 6 to 8 weeks, and can show up again around growth spurts like 2 to 3 weeks, 6 weeks, and sometimes 3 months. The good news? It doesn't stay this intense forever. As your baby's stomach grows, their nervous system matures and their sleep consolidates a bit more. These long cluster nights usually ease up. It doesn't feel like a phase when you're in it, but it really is a phase. Now, let's get practical. What can you do during cluster feeding nights? First, lean into on-demand feeding during the cluster window. As long as your baby is otherwise healthy and gaining well, your baby is often signaling, "I need more right now," and that extra stimulation can help support your milk supply if you're breastfeeding. Second, set up your cluster feeding station. Before evening hits, gather your water bottle, your snacks, your phone or remote, your burp cloth, some diapers and wipes, and a supportive pillow or cushion. Assume you'll be parked there for a bit. You'll feel less trapped if you're physically prepared. Third, tag team if you have a partner or support person. They may not be able to feed the baby every time, especially if you're breastfeeding exclusively, but they can bring you water and food. Burp and hold baby between feeds, handle diaper changes, take over for contact naps so you can stretch, shower, or close your eyes for a few minutes. Your job is not to do everything. Your job is to feed the baby. Their job is to support the person feeding the baby. Fourth, think about protecting a sleep block on the nights before work days. If you're back at work or getting close, you might decide that for one stretch of the night, maybe from midnight to 3 a.m. or 10 p.m. to 1 a.m., your partner takes the lead with a bottle of pumped milk or formula, and you get one solid chunk of sleep. There's no one right way. You're allowed to structure nights around the realities of your job and your body. If you want help organizing evenings and those first 30 days in general, I created a free guide inside my private resource hub for first-time career moms like you. The link is in the description. Check it out. Now, let's talk about mindset, because cluster feeding is not just physical, it's emotional. It is very easy to sit under a nursing baby at 9:30 p.m. and think, "My baby is using me as a pacifier," or "If I had more milk, they wouldn't need to eat this much," or "I'll never have an evening again." If this helped you understand cluster feeding at night, watch this video next. I'll show you a 5-minute reset you can start tonight so days feel brighter and nights feel calmer, and you stop second guessing what is normal. Here's the reframe I want you to consider. Cluster feeding is your baby's way of calming their nervous system after a long, overwhelming day, boosting your supply during growth spurts, and filling their tank for longer stretches of sleep. It's not proof that you are failing. It's often proof that your baby trusts you as their safe place. You are allowed to feel touched out, tired, and frustrated. Those feelings are normal. But you don't have to add the story, "I must be a bad mom," on top of what is already a hard evening. So, when should you worry or call your pediatrician? Cluster feeding should not be all day, every day, with no breaks. And it shouldn't be the only way your baby ever calms. Call your baby's doctor if your baby has fewer wet diapers than expected for their age, is not gaining weight appropriately, is extremely sleepy and hard to wake up for feeds, is crying in a high pitch or unusual way, seems in pain with feeds, or if cluster feeding is happening around the clock, not just in one part of the day. Also call if you notice green or yellow vomit, blood in spit up or stools, signs of dehydration like a dry mouth, Or if your gut says, this feels more than just a hungry or fussy baby. Your instincts plus your doctor's assessment are a powerful combination. If this video helped you feel a little less panicked about cluster feeding, I'd love for you to subscribe and hit the notification bell and share this video to your loved ones who need this kind of information. I'm Cherry, and I will see you in the next one.